All right, guys, we'll open it up for questions.
Jeff, obviously you're going to need players to step up with what's been going on. Something that I remembered early on in the season about Femi was I asked X, what it was like kind of mentoring him, and he said he didn't really need a mentor because he's been taking a lot of initiative on his own. Can you talk about what Femi has done to give you confidence in everything that you see him taking on this thing as a freshman?
Yeah, well, everyone needs a mentor, especially a freshman. And he's had mentors on this team, Justin, some of the other guys, us as a coaching staff. And, he's done some really good things for us this year. We feel like he's ready to step up into a bigger role. He's had to do that at times this year. And when he's had to do it, he's done a good job.
Jeff, with Xavier and Dees gone now, what prompted those decisions for them and what led to that?
I don't know. I mean, it was a lot of talk and discussion, and those things will remain private, at least from our side. But everyone felt like it was in the best interest of everyone, our program, for those guys individually, for them to move on.
Jeff, you spend weeks and months recruiting guys and developing relationships with guys, getting to know them, getting to like them. And then you spend another couple of years developing them on the basketball court. How hard is it for you then as a coach to let go?
It's tough, but things like this happen. Nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing surprises me anymore in college athletics, especially college basketball. And, Jerry, you're right. You do spend time recruiting and developing relationships, and then you do spend time coaching, mentoring, trying to help them develop both on and off the court. And sometimes when situations like this happen, it can be a gut punch, but, you got to move on. That's the bottom line. You have to move on to the next thing, and that's what we're doing.
Jeff, do you feel like some of the things that eventually caused this, mutual separation is the way it was termed, were also some of the causes of some of the inconsistencies this team showed on the court throughout the season? Could be. Not one or two people are to blame. We're all, to be held accountable for that. But, look, we weren't winning. That's the bottom line. And, I've said this over and over. I think this year has been such a tough year for everyone with everything that's going on. And when you look around the country, there are a lot of decisions being made. There are, a lot of things happening in college athletics, in college basketball. That's the sport that's going on right now. And, I've said it over and over. I hope these kids aren't judged right now because of some decisions that are made. And, we wish them the best, the absolute best.
Coach, I know the season isn't, sorry. I know the season isn't over, but would you call this one of the most trying years you've had in coaching?
I would. All of them are trying. Look, I've been through a lot in coaching. And, I went through a year and a half, my last year and a half at Oklahoma, that was brutal. And it was very, very difficult. And I spent the last year there knowing I was going to get fired at the end of the year. And so for me, individually, me personally, does this affect? Yeah, it affects me. But I've lived through maybe the worst thing that, or I would say I've lived through the thing that I feared the most back when I first started, which was being fired. So I've had bad articles written about me. I've had people saying I don't know what I'm doing. I've had a fan base saying that. So none of that stuff affects me. My job is to do the best I can for our players, for our program, and to try to put us in the best position possible as a program to move forward and to try to accomplish what we want to accomplish. I feel very confident
that we're on the right path of doing that. It may not look like it right now, but I feel very confident in what we're doing. And I feel very confident in the guys that we have in our program. And I feel very confident about the future of our program.
Jeff, with the players leaving when they did with the 3 games left, I guess why now?
I don't know. It was just the best decision for everyone right now.
Jeff,
Were they facing any kind of a disciplinary action or
No.
any suspensions?
No, nothing disciplinary. No, not at all.
Jeff, you've talked about, adversity and going from adversity a lot this season, and with everything that's attacked on top of it, of the guys that you're working with now to grow to, through the end of this year and going forward, what were some of the ways you're challenging you guys? Like, hey, these things have happened, but you still got to show up on Sunday, and we got a lot of work to do.
Well, we got to show up every day. That's one of the things in our program that we talk about. You got to show up every day. You have to show up with the right mindset. For me, I look at it, there's a lot of season left. There are opportunities left for us to do some really good things, and let's seize that. I've sensed a sense of excitement. Our practices have been upbeat. They've been good. They've been spirited, and I think we've gotten better. And so that's what we're concentrating on. What I told my team, yesterday was that, I throughout my 46 years, 2 things that I've learned are people love a great comeback. When you see, like in this country, you like to see people fall. That's what happens. But then you love to see a great comeback. And then to finish. Those are 2 of the greatest feelings a person can have, to come back from adversities, failure, or things like that, and then to finish something. And we have to sprint to the finish line. We have an opportunity to finish and to finish strong. And that's what we're going to try to do.
Jeff, we had a talk with you after the Florida State game, about Audice's absence and how much you guys miss him, and how much you guys as a team need him. I was just curious, in a span of 4 days or I guess 5 days, what changed?
Craig, you keep asking the same question over and over in a different way. I mean, most likely he was not going to be able to play the rest of the season with the concussion. I know he was already ruled out for Sunday and Tuesday. And so, again, I'm not going to get into the details of the conversations that were had between Audice and his family and me, and Xavier and his family and me. It was a mutual decision, and I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to concentrate on the guys that we have in our program right now. And so I'm not going to get into what changed from when we played Florida State on Saturday until 4 days later when this decision was made.
Coach, how are the other kids on the team taking all this? Are they
great? I'm not sure they were surprised. And so they've been good. Again, we've had good meetings, good practices, good workouts, and everyone's just looking forward to Sunday.
Jeff, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'd like your perspective. How is coaching different or more difficult than it was when your dad was coaching and then when you were a player?
Well, when I was a player, that was even, when my dad was coaching, it's way different. It's different than it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's constantly changing, and you have to evolve. You have to be able to adapt. Back when I was in school, guys weren't leaving early as much. I think my sophomore year, 4 of the top 5 picks were in my class. So that's when you started seeing, you didn't really have one and dones then, but the 2 and done, that started to happen. I'm sure there weren't as many I'm sure there were not as many transfers back then as there are now. That has gone up each and every year, at a significant rate. And I'm pretty sure it's the same from when my dad coached.
Have you talked about feeling confident that you're still, on the right path with what you're trying to do here? You said last night on your radio show that you don't feel like losing these 2 guys impacts your long-term view of this program. What gives you that confidence and that impression that you think things are still right where they need to be?
I believe in us. I believe in the guys we have in our program. I believe in, what we're doing recruiting. I believe we're doing things the right way. That's why.
from a go
Sorry,
ahead.
Al.
Good, Greg. From a recruiting standpoint, obviously you now have more scholarships available than maybe you anticipated that you might have. Do you think that you'll look to the transfer portal maybe than as opposed to 4 or 5 new freshmen?
We'll look everywhere. We'll look everywhere. And I anticipated having scholarships. So I planned on that the whole time.
Are you expecting any further departures?
I don't know. Obviously, Justin will have a decision to make at the end of the year. That's something we'll discuss at the end of the season. I've had discussions with his parents, just kind of put together a plan of what we'll do after the season. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, look, you guys follow college basketball. You see a lot of things happen. And so you never know.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.